Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for another Mystery Mystic reading. And this is surrounding the shooting death of the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson. This happened yesterday on Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. I'm recording this reading as of Thursday, December 5th, 2024 at about 4:10 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. So I say all that because just so you can get a pulse on when I'm recording the reading. Now, the reason why the cards are already on the table is because I did a whole thing shuffling the cards. Cards jumped. These were the cards that jumped, but the sound didn't capture. And so unfortunately, I don't have that to share, but I will go through each of the cards that did jump. And I think it was important that I leave these ones on the table because I think they have a lot of pertinent information as to why this all occurred to Brian. Okay, Brian, he died a very public and just a horrific death, honestly. He was shot in the back and through the heart, and he died in Midtown Manhattan. And I mean, no matter how you feel about him or the business he was a part of or any of the things he was accused of, at the end of the day, you know, his family members lost a dear loved one, friends, colleagues. So my condolences goes out to them. I'll say that. Yeah. Now, before I even pulled these cards, I pulled this one from the Evil Eye Oracle that I have. I think it's called Haters Expose Evil Eye Oracle. And I just wanted to get a pulse on what we're dealing with here. This is the name of the deck. Haters Expose Evil Eye Oracle cards. We got envious of your career and the money you make. At the heart of it, this is the motive. This kind of flies in the face of wanting revenge. This is envy or wanting to take someone down because of the money you make, because of the career you have. Okay? Yeah, so that's what I've got there. Let's get into these cards, these Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle cards. The first card we got was ear. Ear. The key meanings are hearing news, listening to others, being aware of situations. It is over the candle card. This is about hearing news of something that was about to come to light or did come to light, and that having a direct correlation to what happened to him. I suppose it could be a denial of coverage you hear, and you feel the need to do something about it. But the reason why I don't think that's the case is these other cards that we're going to talk about in this reading. We know that Brian was facing some serious accusations about insider trading. And that could mean that there was testimony against him, evidence against him, and other people who were involved in this scheme, or he having a listening ear and him talking to other people. That comes to mind. Also, I get a sense that someone is using this bit of information about the insider trading to their advantage. Like the timing is such that it worked out where you could thwart attention away from the real perp, the real person who's ultimately responsible for hiring a hit. Okay, that's what I'm sensing here. The ladder card. The ladder is about, a leg up, stepping up in life, right? The key meanings are high achievements, overcoming obstacles, stepping up in life. He was the CEO, so he would be at the top rung, but maybe someone down here at the bottom wanted to be in his position, or, they wanted to knock him down a few notches all the way to death. Or maybe they felt like he was keeping someone down, or he had the potential to keep someone down, or to take something away, or to step up. That's interesting to me. Pop it. The puppet card is really interesting to me in this reading. The keywords are about manipulation, brainwashing, having control over someone. Now, a lot of people are suspecting this is a hired hit. Perhaps it could be that the shooter is also the person who's, it's the mastermind. But I feel like this card affirms that there's a mastermind behind this. And this is something that's not just a hit. It feels personal, like manipulation, brainwashing, having control over someone. Did someone feel that way about Brian? Something coming to light recently, in recent times. We know the insider trading was coming to light. There could have been more information coming out. There will be more coming to light. Circling back to this puppet card, it almost feels like somebody, is controlling someone else who arranged for this hit to happen. And it feels more than just business as usual, more than just I'm trying to cover up something. Wall. Now, it's sitting underneath the ladder card, right? This is about overcoming obstacles. This is about facing and dealing with obstacles. That's the first key word. The second key word is separation. Then we got protection, maintaining boundaries. Someone had their interests that needed to be protected. They may have received news, or it may come to light very soon about someone close to Brian that was going to be in some form of separation, or separating himself from the herd, or separating himself from the situation. Something needed to be protected. Their position needed to be protected. Envious of your career and the money you make. Now, I suppose it could be a disgruntled insured who's upset about a coverage denial and they want to take you down a few notches. But this feels different when it's sitting over the wall card. Maintaining boundaries. He was moving too fast, moving too willy-nilly. Fish card. The fish card has the key meanings: pregnancy, unconscious thoughts, good fortune, and may represent suspicion. Very soon, we're going to have suspicions around something that was dealing with the pregnancy or gestation of something. Yes, it could represent literal pregnancy, but it also could represent, when you see fish, a school of thought. It could represent someone, manipulating a situation or feeling manipulated, feeling brainwashed, having to take control, having to set some sort of boundaries, having to get what's theirs. When I saw this card in the original video I recorded earlier today, there was someone in the comment section of one of the posts about this, about what happened to Brian. And people were going back and forth about, the CEO not having a hand in denying coverage or denying claims and things of that nature. But then someone said, the dead fish smells the most at the head of the fish. I forgot the phrasing. Those who know like American colloquialisms and phrases and sayings probably knows what I'm talking about. But the head stinks the most, is what I saw here. And I get a sense that there's even someone that Brian is beholden to, that that may soon be, people lay suspicions on this person, even beyond him. Yes, he's a CEO, but there's someone he's beholden to. And it doesn't have to be in business. It could be a personal relationship. It could be an intimate relationship, partnerships. Pregnancy is an interesting key word for this card. I'll just leave it at that. You know, the birthing of someone or something. Good fortune. Someone is manipulating the story, putting out a false narrative to protect their good fortune that's coming to them because they are envious of your career and the money you make. Envy is an interesting motive, isn't it? This doesn't say revenge or you know, and I'm not saying that these cards can't represent that someone did not want vengeance. They very well could, but envy is standing out to me. All right, I'm going to pause here and pull up the next cards I want to share with you. Okay, so I pull from the Divine Shadow Self Oracle, and these are the cards that jumped. We have here regret, secretive, helpless, hostility, denial, and trauma. I feel when I did the reading earlier, I felt this was telling us about feelings of regret prior to all of this happening. We're talking plenty of time, months, years even. Not necessarily someone feeling regret now that they've done this. No one is feeling regret. I'm not picking up on a strong sense of regret about what happened to Brian. That in my intuition tapping into the emotional energy surrounding him and those who orchestrated this, there is no regret. But there was somebody who had a regret perhaps about going in secret, working with him or working with someone behind his back, or that coming about later, him having regrets about this person that he's, dealing with, something that was secretive that came out. Perhaps Brian, what we don't know is maybe Brian feeling helpless, or someone dealing with him felt helpless, felt like they had no hope. I suppose the helpless card, especially with this denial card, I mean, you can't deny the denial card on the table. I suppose it could mean that someone felt helpless. They, had nothing to lose, and they were denied coverage, and they did what they did. They caused trauma to him. But I really sense there's something else going on here, that someone was being secretive, denying some sort of involvement. Things were getting hostile. People close to him or a person close to Brian was filling with regrets about not acting or doing something sooner, needing to protect something. We saw that up here, and regretting that they didn't do that, or regretting the time lost with him, for example. Someone wanting to also portray themselves as being helpless, but really they are not. They're not helpless. They're just, manipulating the situation to make themselves look like they were helpless. Secretive. Surely he was engaged. This card, the secretive card, could be speaking about the alleged insider trading. Someone having regrets about going into that with him and wanting to, and feeling like they had no choice because they are helpless. They have no choice but to seize this particular opportunity to take him down. Growing hostility. I sensed that about a month before, or last month. You'll see later on in the reading that I did in the subsequent cards, the month of November came up. There's something of significance that happened in November that let those who Brian, like his closest confidant, his friend or friends, about a hostility that was growing. And I don't know if it necessarily was coming from someone who is an insured who got denied coverage. It feels to me like that's like a ruse. You all let me know what you think. Like, I feel like as much as it looks like, oh, someone is disgruntled about that, this goes deeper and deeper than that. What we're seeing is not really the truth of it. Like, that's just what I keep picking up on here. Someone has maybe denied involvement to police, or denial of, any involvement or knowing anything. Someone who has already spoken out on his behalf or will speak out in the near future. Denial, but you can just feel this energy of secrecy around this person. And then trauma, this person who is ultimately responsible, either setting into motion, hiring someone to cause trauma, or they felt traumatized by a situation related to Brian, and they are using this to say, oh, I was helpless and I had to do what I have to do. I feel like these are defenses coming way down the line when this the ball gets rolling about when we find out the key player who ultimately orchestrated this. And I can't wait. I'm recording this. This is the first part you're watching, but I've already recorded the rest of this video. The cards that came out from my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle, the other edition, the murder mystery cards, it will start to paint a picture about who may be responsible. So I'll just give you a little foreshadowing with that, okay? All right, let's keep going. Okay, so now we're going to work with the murder mystery oracle cards. We're going to work with them. Let's do this. Where is it? Oh, okay. That's the first card. I almost lost it. A closer observation of the victim's living space may provide clues. Now, that's interesting. I suppose it could be the temporary living space of his hotel room. Could be, right? Or it could be his home in Minneapolis that offers more clues. And I'm sensing it's talking about that. A closer observation of the victim's living space may provide clues closer to home. Haha, look at that. Surveillance cameras may provide important clues. We're already seeing it played out in real time, or, played out. Like they already was releasing the surveillance videos capturing Brian's death as of like that yesterday morning when I woke up. But there's more, lots more. Let me brief shuffle that one. They said already interviewed the killer. I'll leave it there, but they may have already interviewed someone who's in the know, right? Not the actual shooter, but the person who ordered it. Dating history or killer knew a victim. Just leave that there. Illegal activities played a role. We'll go through all of these in a moment, but I just want to get them on the table. A friend knows something. Okay, let's go through these cards one by one. We talked about a closer observation of the victim's living space may provide clues. What would those clues be? Records, documents that are in his office or in his library. I would imagine he has like a library. It could be photos. It could be some kind of insignia of an organization he's a part of. It could be some sort of disruption, someone rummaging through his stuff at home where you could tell maybe someone wasn't trying to rob him, but they were looking for something. So a closer observation of the victim's living space may provide clues. The next card is surveillance cameras may provide important clues. Now, we are already seeing splashed all over the screen a look at the shooter, all right? It's probably a matter of time before they catch him. But there's more. We're talking about surveillance well before, during, and after that's going to provide important clues. And we're talking about surveillance, perhaps even CCTV footage at his own home, at Brian's home. I would imagine he's got all sorts of security there. Who was coming to and fro his property before, during, and after this crime? Also, what about his workspace, his office? Who was coming to and from there? Also, I'm sure the case will be cracked with some more, or we'll get more information, more surveillance video footage coming out. That's going to be like, aha, we're seeing more. Already interviewed the perp. When I say the killer, I'm not thinking we're talking about they already interviewed the shooter. They already admitted that this shooter is still at large. I think they probably have some clues on where they may have been headed or where they went. I'm talking about, when a crime happens, police are interviewing family, friends, colleagues, employees, people, like if he frequented a shop, or maybe he went to somewhere he frequents, organizations he's a part of. They're casting the net wide, where in terms of who they may have interviewed. And so I would suspect that the person who is responsible for this has already been talked to by law enforcement. That's what I would think. Dating history or killer knew of victim. This kind of speaks for itself. Close, intimate connection, allegedly. Could just be simply the killer knew of the victim because he was given this information, like this is where he's going to be. This is what, his itinerary for the day, his flight itinerary. It could be something like that. Like the victim may not have known necessarily. Because look, it says dating history or killer knew of victim. This doesn't say victim knew of killer, right? So there's that. Dating history. Whose dating history? Is it Brian's dating history? Or someone close to Brian's dating history, allegedly? Illegal activities played a role. Well, clearly, murder for hire is definitely illegal. But there's more. We talked about insider trading. Lord knows what else is tied to this case. But illegal activities played a role in his demise. Information getting out, right? A friend knows something. Now, this doesn't mean a friend did it or caused this. A friend could just know some information that they didn't really think at the time it mattered, but it is now critical. So it doesn't mean that a friend is involved at all. It just means that a friend has some information that could also help police in cracking the case. That's all. All right. Now I'm going to pause, take pictures of these. We'll pull from maybe one or two more decks, and then we'll wrap up and kind of just sit with what are we thinking now? Where are we at now? All right, be back. All right, so now we're going to work with my secrets, my very large Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. And I'm going to shuffle it in sections to see if we can get more clues on motive and who did this. I'm going to do this in sections. All right, Spirit, come to you for guidance. Accusations. Let's see what fell to the floor. Alive. Someone who's alive. When he was alive, accusations, I suppose. Unloved, unwanted. Okay. Meeting. That's interesting. Bail or bond. Somebody bailed out or will be bailed out or on bond or something like that. Disguise or change of appearance. Okay. Motive or clues on who did this. Computer. Could be also his home computer that has that evidence, or his work computer. Let's see. The bones. Like secrets. Information. Okay. Let's see. Let's keep shuffling. I'm just gonna see. News, media, and the press is not gonna let this go. Like if somebody was hoping this story would just barely get any attention, they are mistaken. Okay, hold on. I might have to tell my husband to keep it down. He always waits until I'm recording to start getting on the phone or talking loud. Like, that's a pet peeve of mine. Okay, so let's keep going. What else? What else, Spirit? Choke. Trauma. Remember we got the trauma card. Paperwork or paper trail. Uh-oh. And we want one more row. Okay. Parent. Huh. Oh no. It's going to be so interesting. Evidence. Okay. And, well, let's see. 1 second. Friends and associates. And lastly, one more card, Spirit. Weapons. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get through all these cards in a timely fashion here. I can't really zoom in on them, so I will have to bring them up to the camera as need be. The first card we have here is accusations. And it's sitting next to the alive. So there's accusations flying around when he was alive that offers important clues as to someone seeing an opportunity to do this crime to kind of deflect from themselves. Accusations, accusing insureds of doing revenge against him. That's something else. We have here the wife accusing, well, she didn't accuse any particular person, but she said that he was getting threats, something about denials of coverage. I'm paraphrasing what she said, but that's the gist of it. So while he was alive, also, he was being accused of insider trading. So that too could be tied into an opportunity to deflect. An opportunity to have someone feel sorry for someone or have someone do something on behalf of them, because when he was alive, he was being accused of something really serious. I don't care what people say. This sounds very serious to me. People do time for insider trading. Now, the next clue we have here is unloved or unwanted. Maybe he was no longer needed or wanted after he may have been called to testify. Could be that. But this feels like it shows a woman depicted. It could be someone no longer feeling loved. It could be a jilted lover. It could be a family member. It could be a friend. I don't know. But unloved, unwanted. Doesn't have to be someone unloved. It could be someone unwanted or vice versa, So there's that. Meeting. Spirit wants to say here very strongly, who knew about the meeting? You could really, narrow it down, because from my understanding, this meeting was not, like, they didn't say, oh, it's going to be at the Hilton at this address. Like, if there was any press releases or bulletins within the organization, maybe they just would say, oh, it's the investors conference, the annual investors conference. And that's it. They weren't sharing a location. Someone knew key information about his itinerary, about this meeting that he was going to be in. And it needed to happen in this way because they wanted to drive home that, oh, he's going to an investors meeting, and he was also accused of insider trading. Must be something tied. That could be something tied to his death because of that. Or, just in case that doesn't take off, let's put the case, or let's have the casing say deny, defend, depose to again throw things off. It shows a female depicted too, a female being in the know of a meeting, or the meeting was, it was what is a part of this bigger ruse of things. It's over the bones card. Bones, yes, it could be that there's other casualties that have happened in the past or will happen in the future. Could mean that. Or it could just mean that the bones are the secrets. The secrets. Okay? So then we have bail or bond. Someone who maybe will eventually be bonded out or bailed out in the future related to his death or related to the investigations surrounding him, when he was alive. It could also be that the suspect will later on be up for, a bail hearing, maybe get denied. It could be that some people tied to this white collar crime situation will be bailed or bonded out. We need to look too at the people who were also like his co-conspirators in the whole insider trading. Who are these people? They have accusations. Or is there a bounty out on them? That's a question to think about. Disguise or change of appearance. Clearly, I would say that probably the shooter is doing just that. But it also could be the person who hires the hit may change their appearance. You may notice a distinct change in their look, their appearance. They had blonde hair, now they have dark hair, or vice versa. They could get some plastic surgery. They could wear things to obscure. Clearly the shooter did do just that, and it could just come out later. It's, that they find the evidence of the change of clothes or something like that. Computer information is vital, critical, probably on the victim, Brian's computer, but also people close to him. Their computer data is also going to be scrubbed and looked at. Police are really wanting to solve this as quickly as possible, so they will be able to get those warrants quickly and be able to look at people's computers, including the victim's computer, for information and data that could lead them. Because I don't know if this is just somebody who's mad about a denial of coverage. I don't know, friends. I really don't. We have information. So if you look at the line of cards here, accusations, bail or bond, information, parent. He was a parent. Maybe his parent, maybe if his parents, I don't know if his parents are still living or not, and my heart goes out to them and my condolences. But if they are, maybe they have some information that could lead to evidence unfolding. Or it could just be that he's a parent, or the person who is ultimately responsible for the hit is a parent close to him, allegedly. We'll leave it there. We have here news, media, and the press next to information. They are constantly being fed information real time. And because of that, we probably are going to get a lot more information as the days and weeks go by. It's one of those stories that is tantalizing. You can't turn away. I've heard of execs getting, their lives taken in this fashion. And sometimes those stories pick up in the media, and then sometimes they just, they're like the second, third page of the paper back when you get an actual newspaper, right? Let me know if you still get actual newspapers thrown at your door in the morning. It wouldn't be like front page news. This is front page. People want to know. They are curious. They want to know the reason, the why, as to the motive, as to why he lost his life. I'm just sensing it starts all the way over here with this envious of your career and money you make. Was he envious of someone else and he was getting greedy and making poor decisions that wasn't protecting the information that he had? Perhaps. Or was somebody like, oh, you're going to separate from us or me, and I got to protect that because I want what you have, Brian. I want to choke back the truth. Also, we saw trauma here. So it could be that maybe someone feels like he traumatized them, that Brian allegedly traumatized them. It literally could be about choking someone or hurting someone. But choke sometimes for me in my readings come up as I want to choke back information. I want to prevent information from coming out. Paperwork or paper trail. There is a paper trail so tough on this case that you would not believe. And so this is where all hands on deck with law enforcement is on this. You've got people who are forensic analysts who can go through paperwork, large swaths of data, spreadsheets, accountings. There's a paperwork trail. I'd be curious to know about what was going on in the marriage. Maybe if we decide we want to do a future reading on this case, like a tarot reading, we could look and explore what was really going on in the marriage. It could be nothing to do with what happened to him, or it could be everything, right? Paperwork, though. There's paperwork or a paper trail. So you've got detectives working the angle of the shooter, others looking at the motive, others looking at the victim and the victimology of what we got going on here, and them having to comb through copious amounts of paperwork. We talked about the parent card. Evidence is coming out in real time from news and media here. I've been wanting to get to evidence. The New York, NYPD, their premier agency, they've dealt with a lot of crime. So thankfully, it looks like they've got a lot of evidence that they are able to preserve that they have not released to the media yet, right? Some that they're being very strategic about releasing information. There's a reason the what do you call it? Can't think of it. The reward is $10,000. You would think that this man is worth millions. 43 million is what I read somewhere. And it's only a $10,000 reward for information. It's like your base level reward, right? And I think it's because police are holding back a lot more evidence. Even though it feels like we've received and saw a lot, no, there's more. There's a lot more. And they're trying to thwart the person who hired the hit. They're trying to have them think, oh, we're going in this direction, but really we know the real direction of why he lost his life. It's no accident that they released about those casings, Now, friends and associates. This card came up right here. A friend knows something. Friends and associates. Look closely at his friends and associates. See what they have to say about every aspect of his business, his life, his personal life, his marriage, all of it. Who was he hanging out with? Who was he doing business with? Who was he have clandestine, meetings with? What did the friends know? What was he lamenting about? What was he frustrated about? They know. Friends and associates, look at that as well. They offer important clues. And finally, the weapons. The gun with the silencer. Yeah, that's interesting, right? To even have a silencer and to have, oh my goodness, my husband's so loud. I don't know if you all can hear him. Hopefully the mic is isolating it, but it's throwing me off. But the weapons, either this could mean that they're going to eventually find the weapon or a paper trail about the weapon. What? Okay, tying it or linking it to an associate, right? Or just simply that they never find the weapon, but the weapon is, not necessary, or the weapon is critical, or it's a particular kind of gun. Like when they do ballistics, they're going to see, something that is special about that particular gun, or it could be that the person who is responsible ultimately has like an interesting weapons collection, a knife collection. Like there's some people who collect these obscure or ancient weapons. It could be something like that when this card comes up. But it's something about the weapon that is also going to offer a critical clue and tie it back to some associates close to Brian. Okay. So I think we're going to wrap here. I was going to use the Divine Crime Oracle. I mean, I guess I could pull a couple of cards from here just to get a pulse. I don't want this video too much longer, because if we decide to do a reading on Brian's case, we can cover additional decks there. Spirit, what is additional guidance you want to share, particularly about the motive? Or will this case be solved? Long hair, male suspect, accomplice. Okay. Long hair could denote a woman's involvement, or Spirit wants to... I was hoping Spirit would give us more about motive, but I don't know. I was hoping, for more about motive, but I think Spirit's like, look, no, this is what it is. It is money related, okay? But I'm not going to spend too much time on it, because we can also, let's see what cards we've got so far. So far we got long hair, okay, and it shows a woman depicted. We have male suspect, accomplice, so someone maybe being hired, or a couple of people who are tied or responsible. I suppose the gentleman in the surveillance who did this, who shot Brian, didn't have long hair. So this does to me denote that somebody else is involved, or maybe the mastermind, someone who's a smoker, a clue to who this may be, or some sort of like DNA being pulled from a cigarette or something like that. I don't know. Maybe the guy didn't look like somebody who's on some kind of hard drugs, the suspect. We have here 1,000 kilometers plus. This suspect probably is planning to flee or to go a large distance away from the crime scene, and maybe law enforcement is already aware of that. But we're talking, or it could mean that the person who's ultimately responsible, it lives 1,000 kilometers plus. Remember, Brian is from Minneapolis. He was in New York at the time of his death. So there's that. All right. But it also could mean that the suspect is fleeing that distance. November is of importance. Something critical happening in, preceding his death in November that offers important clues that we'll later find out about what led to Brian's death. Also, in the future, November can be of importance, like, catching the suspect, or criminal proceedings, or something tied to the insider trading, or the birth year, or the birth month, of one of the persons responsible. Large group. This goes bigger and deeper than we can imagine, I suppose. Southeast. Southeast. The suspect could have went southeast. The person who is responsible went southeast following this 200. Or the the person who ordered the hit lives southeast, of town, for example. 200 to 500 kilometers. This is interesting. Southeast, 200 to 500 kilometers. Maybe that's where the suspect originally went, and then from thereafter skipped all the way out of Dodge, But it also could just say go back to Minneapolis, back to home. I don't know how many kilometers or miles Minneapolis is from Manhattan. I don't know. I'll have to look. But large group stands out because this is a large corporation or organization or, health insurer that he works for. But also I think this is about shady dealings, and, it's larger than we think. This runs deep. There's a network of maybe hitmen, I don't know. Runs deep. bigger than we could imagine. This is, I'm hoping that the news media stays on it, continues to press, because I think that we need to, there's a reason we need to see this story, a reason why it's come out now, why this whole thing has transpired, and this goes bigger. It affects more than we realize. It's not, that's my take on it. All right, friends, we're going to wrap it up here. This has gone on longer than expected, but I thank you so much for watching. And again, my condolences goes out to Brian's loved ones, to his colleagues, to his employees. No one would ever probably expect this, and it's just such a crazy way to lose one's life. So I'm so terribly sorry. Do me a favor, on your way out, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support does mean a lot to me. More to come. Well, if you think of any questions, let me know in the comment section that you would like me to pose for a potential upcoming tarot reading. I only use the oracle in this reading. This is an opening oracle reading. But should we decide to come back to this reading table, we can pull out the tarot card and ask some pointed questions. And I'd love to hear from you in the comment section what those questions should be. Take care, friends. You take very good care of yourself and your loved ones. I'll see you all around in the next one. Bye for now.